Nerd Vengers! It's a Monday, and I'm on my way. Woo! Yeah! What's up, everybody? A lot of geese out there today, man. To be honest with you, a lot of birds. It's been a wild ride into the tower. Good morning. Welcome to your Monday stream. We're going to talk some Thor Love and Thunder. Today, tickets on sale. Big old interview out there by Fandango. But also, of course, the talk of the town. The movie's too short. Do you guys remember when you were a kid and you wanted to ride on the roller coaster, but there was a sign that said you must be this tall to ride the roller coaster? That's like what... Wait, what the fuck? What the hell? What? Whoa! Chet, what? What's... All right, I'm pulling into the tower. I'll see you in a second. You ruined my intro. Don't even look at me. Keep your head down. Gah. Like I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by fucking Chet. There's some people saying it's too short. It's like that, you know, you can't ride the ride at the theme park, the roller coaster, because you're too short. So that's what's going on there. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. There's an article. I also want to just kind of get a sense of where you guys are at with this movie. Where's the hype level at? You know, did you get tickets, etc., etc.? So we'll get into that. A couple other fun stories that we're going to share and talk about today. Should be a nice chill stream. I will say, oh, you know what? One thing I want to say kind of right off the bat. Pull that music down, Chet. No, don't look at me. Don't even look at me. One thing that I do want to say right off the bat here, if you are a Nerd Venture member, come on by today at 1 p.m. We're going to do our regular Nerd Ventures stream, but I also have something kind of special that I'm planning for next week. And if you guys are down and you want to be, you know, participating in some stuff with us and help us out with a little video thing that we're going to do next week, make sure you come on by today at 1 p.m. We'll talk about it at 1 p.m. Okay? There's a couple other nerdy bits and news and whatnot that we have to get into today, and we'll, of course, do Q&A as well, and we'll kind of talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, wherever the stream generally takes us. I am just kind of curious, though, while we're hanging out here a little bit before we get into all of this. Where is your hype level out of 10? Let me know. Where's your hype level at for Thor, Love, and Thunder? Where would you say that hype level is at? If you had to set it on the dial, give it a numeric value of 1 to 10, where's that at? Okay, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of... slow down, one at a time. Okay, I see like a lot of 8s, a lot of 9s, a lot of 10s, a couple 7s here and there, but it seems generally speaking pretty high. Shadow, by the way, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. So let me ask you guys this, because it seems like there's a good bit of hype for the film. What about the movie has you excited? You know, just throw out a couple comments and whatnot. You know, like what about the films got you so hyped? Or is it the trailers? Is it the villain? Is it just Thor? Is it Jane? You know, Natalie, Thor, Jane, Bale, Gore, a lot of Gores, Greek gods. Yeah, a lot of, Gore. Cool. Gore mostly. Okay, cool. That's cool stuff. Yeah, I think, you know, look, obviously Black Widow was a movie about a character that we had followed a lot in the Infinity Saga. But I think that Thor, other than Doc Strange, is the first big sequel for like another kind of core Avengers member or another person that we visited a lot in the Infinity Saga, right? Doctor Strange, to be fair, is not heavily involved in a lot of the Infinity Saga. He wasn't a core member of the Avengers. He's not a person that we hang out with a lot. He had his solo movie. He was involved in Infinity War and then is pretty much absent because of the blip and also just because of story and stuff. He's absent until the very end of Endgame, right? Antony Berlin, welcome to the Nerdventures. You are a Nerdventure now. And so I think that there's a lot of, like, I was kind of investigating my own feelings about this and, like, why am I so hyped up for Thor? I think that's a big part of it, really, is, like, I love those characters, and I love that group of the Avengers. Jackson Mays, welcome to the Nerdventures. You are a Nerdventure now. But, you know, there's also just so much fun stuff. So when you start to, like, tally up and start to add up all of the sort of dope things that are in the movie, I mean, number one, you've got the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? So the last time we saw Thor with the Guardians, you know, and they're going out there. They have that little funny exchange between Peter Quill and Thor about who's actually in charge. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to shake out. And I like the Guardians characters, like I do. And so I'm really interested to see that going on. Jane Foster Thor. Jane Foster Thor. Very, very interesting character. I think there's a lot of hype for Natalie Portman as Thor, maybe even more so than just in general having a female Thor or having Thor be Jane Foster in the comics, right? So I talk about this a lot, but in All New, All Different Marvel, there was this time period where a lot of changes were happening and representation was certainly a big sort of to-do over at Marvel Comics. And this wasn't always handled the best. You know, I genuinely think that a lot of what Jason Aaron wrote with Jane as Thor and that whole run-up was actually really, really well executed. There's a lot of fun moments, you know. There was this moment that, because Elisa's like rereading through some of it right now, and she reminded me of the part where he's convinced that the female Thor is his mother, and he's like, you know, asks her again, like, "Are you my mom?" And she, like, comes in and gives him a big old smooch. And then she's like, "Do you still think I'm your mom?" And he's like, "I fucking hope not." You know, that's weird. And, you know, little moments like that. And then I think ultimately where it goes with Gore and fighting across time and bringing in different Thors from different time periods, really, really cool stuff. The element where Jane is dying of cancer and the hammer is keeping her cancer alive because it's like giving her that immortal power. A lot of intriguing stuff there. However, I do think generally speaking, it was a mistake to remove Thor Odinson from A, being called Thor, and B, from being Thor. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you could have elevated another Thor, made Jane Thor alongside Thor, and that would have been a little bit better, more tasteful, right? And I think when it comes to the MCU, there are a lot of eyes on this movie and a lot of people just waiting to see how will Marvel Studios handle this exact thing that's being adapted from the comic books. And I think that they will hopefully handle it much better than it was even in the comics. So when it comes to Jane Foster Thor, it's one of those really interesting things because there's a lot of people out there that are like, man, I don't want a female Thor, especially if they're just going to make Chris's Thor just look like a doofus and be an idiot. And then you have Jane become Thor, and she's just, you know, awesome and outshines him completely. And there's like this sort of like, it's really weird because in some ways it reminds me of like just a fight from back in the day, like elementary school, the girls versus boys. Do you remember when this was a thing? It became like girls versus boys and like, you know, all that sort of stuff. Like that's not really needed, in my opinion, for these movies and for like the idea of representation and those sort of things. So when it comes to Jane Foster Thor, I think a lot of people are super hyped up on it. I think a lot of this might have to do with Natalie Portman because Natalie Portman is a beloved actress and is also obviously, you know, legendary in a lot of the minds of nerds for being Padme, and also like her hilarious SNL skits and stuff like that. Like basically like from a nerdy perspective, Natalie has a lot of skis. You know what I mean? Like we're down with Chad May. You know, we're down with Chad May. Somebody says just say she's hot. Oh, bro, she's very hot, and she's not just hot. She's also like hot ass Padme. I think for many young nerds, or even older nerds, I guess at this point, hot ass Padme was a coming of age moment. It was a thing. You know what I mean? So absolutely. Oh, and V for Vendetta. Yeah. Good call on that. So I think that, look, a lot of people are really excited for Natalie to become Thor, and you know, you stack that up with Taika, right? Because I think that Taika and what he did in Ragnarok is awesome. It was a lot of fun, very, very entertaining. And you put together a lot of these different elements, and you do have a lot of hype for the film. Okay, so a lot of people are excited for the film, which in some ways may lead to disappointment about its runtime, at least initially. So let's get into this. Let's talk about this, because this is out there, and I have seen a lot of folks kind of chiming in on this, seemingly a little disappointed in what it could mean. And so let's just get into it, and then we'll talk about it together as a community. Thor Love and Thunder runtime is shorter than expected. I'm over here on the direct. Moving into Phase 4, MCU fans have developed more interest than ever in the runtime of the latest releases, as they continue to call for longer episodes and big screen adventures. That is kind of true. Do you know what I mean? That is kind of true. Like, when it came to a lot of the Disney Plus episodes, and I would even say like this happened in Mando. I had these experiences in Mando. In fact, going back to the very first episode of The Mandalorian, like the very first one, I was like, damn, bro, like, how long was that first episode of Mando? Not long enough. And I remember that was almost immediately sort of something that was out there. And maybe in some ways this is sort of Netflix is doing, because Netflix would do a lot of longer episode. Do you know what I mean? And so, you know, when we talk about like Daredevil and a lot of those other, you know, Stranger Things, et cetera, the episodes tended to be pretty long. And so did the season. And so, you know, Netflix being one of the first big streaming platforms may have set the precedence for this, but it's absolutely true. When it comes to the Disney Plus shows, there's often complaints about the episode length. When it comes to Kenobi, like, you know, last week's episode, the shortest one yet, definitely not great. And I think moving into the last two episodes, you know, believe it or not, there would be a lot of people upset if these episodes were not long enough. Okay? Nearly all the Disney Plus series have received criticism for the length of their installments. Again, that's true. But Doctor Strange to the Multiverse of Madness was the latest to fall victim, as it came in at just 2 hours and 6 minutes. Now, to be fair, I think part of the issue with Multiverse of Madness is not just that it's a shorter movie, but that, like, it's pretty apparent they cut a ton of stuff out of that film, right? So they cut out, like, at least, I would say, 30 minutes from one of the cuts. You know, a lot of people talk about the different cameos, this, that, second, and the third thing that could have been in the film. They trimmed it down a lot. When it comes to Thor Love and Thunder, let's see what they say. It is moving ever closer to its July release, and fans have begun speculating how long it will run for, between spending time with the Guardians of the Galaxy, reintroducing Jane as the mighty Thor, diving into Christian Bale's gore. Director Taika Waititi has a lot to achieve with Love and Thunder. The rumor has placed the God of Thunder's latest adventure between an hour and 55 minutes and 2 hours and 20 minutes, a range that could be the difference between disappointment and excitement. So that's kind of wild, man, because now we actually know that it's less than 2 hours. Okay? So, look, I think 2 hours is a damn healthy amount for a movie. I'm not really that concerned about it, but there are fans out there that are like, I don't know about that. So, you know what? Maybe we should do a little bit of a poll here and see what you guys think about it. Because this would technically make Thor Love and Thunder. Let me just double check this. Okay. Okay, so this is over on Games Radar. It's the shortest Marvel movie in years. The runtime for Thor Love and Thunder has seemingly been revealed in the series' new listing. Cinema chains AMC and Cinema World have Thor clocking in at 119 minutes, an hour and 59 minutes. Now, that includes credits, guys. So, we got to be fair. That is probably an hour 45, maybe an hour 40 of movie. It'll also be only the third movie in 6 years to hit under 2 hours, if you include 2016's. And it is the shortest MC movie since Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is 1 minute shorter. 1 minute shorter. So it is literally the shortest MCU movie since 2018. It is only a minute longer than Ant-Man and the Wasp. And it will be only the third movie in 6 years to hit under 2 hours. From the MCU, of course. So, that's the frame. Let's go to the polls. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the polls. Chat, how are we feeling? Is this too short? Yes or no? Or is a better way to say it, are you upset at the length? Are you disappointed in Thor, Love, and Thunder's runtime? Yes or no? Boom, let's go to Poll Town. Poll Town, USA. Let's do it. Wait, what? It's not letting me? Oh, never mind. I hit the wrong button. Hang on, everybody. Hang on. It's a Monday. We're doing. It needs to be at least 16 hours. I agree. I agree with that. You're hungover, Mas? What, did you go hard on Sunday or something? No, but there is reason for concern, says Rogue. Interesting. Don't think about it too much. Do I think Feige had something to do with this? Well, let's wait to see what all of y'all say, and then I'll give my take for sure. For sure, bro. For sure, bro. For sure, bro. That is just a test runtime? Oh, I don't know about that, actually. Game over, Jesse. I don't know about that. Nice, Mas. I loved Ant-Man and the Wasp, so it's whatever. That's fair. Less Taika, the better? Oh, shit. Ah, shit. Jason. Yo, we got some Taika haters in the house. We got some Taika haters in the house. Interesting. Okay, so here's my take on this. I'm not concerned. But it does sort of raise an eyebrow, and it perhaps gives credence to some other concerns that I've had about this movie. We know very little about this film, at least as far as like a plot leak perspective. There have been very little things shared about the movie. And I'm not even sure how much the movie has reshot, right? I tried to find this article. And by the way, if you guys can do me a favor, if anybody has this article, please hit me up via Twitter or on Discord. Because I swear to God, there was an article where Kevin Feige came out and said something like, well, I don't know that we can call ourselves the greatest film studio on the planet when we have to go do 40 days of reshoots. He was referring to Love and Thunder, and he said something like that, right? And the reality is, I think that Thor, again, is one of these movies that shot a lot in the height of the pandy. And Taika's style generally can be very, very wild, and I think he does a lot of, ad-libbing, a lot of, like, going off page and just having fun, and I can assume that you've got to do a lot of work to kind of bring that back together. And when it comes to Multiverse of Madness, I do think that Multiverse of Madness was a project that at one time was really ambitious and very bloated, and essentially they did a ton of reshooting to essentially tighten the movie down and make it much smaller. Now, that's a whole nother thing, because I love Multiverse of Madness. Love it. Love that film. Absolutely love it. But it's a divisive film. And even though I think they did a lot of work to tighten it up, at the end of the day, there's still a lot of things that people disagreed with. There's still a lot of things that fans weren't crazy about. And so when it comes to Thor Love and Thunder, I think that when you see fans bringing this up as a negative, and when you see fans being like, oh man, I don't know about that, it's kind of like, again, it's in line with those Disney Plus frustrations. It's in line with a lot of the frustrations for the other MCU movies. And it's basically like, man, are we going to get enough juice? Are we going to get enough dope stuff? Is this movie going to be absolutely epic, or is it going to have a very tight narrative and we're kind of in and out with the movie, right? And so ultimately, like, I found myself really, really hyped up for Thor Love and Thunder. I think it looks freaking great. I'm very excited. There are a few question marks for me going into it. The length doesn't necessarily... I'll tell you this. This is the best way I think I can put it. The length does not get me pumped. Okay? When you think about an hour and 45-minute movie, that's probably what it's going to be without credits, right? Especially if those credits are really long with post-credit scenes and shit. Like, you could be looking at an hour 40. An hour 40 of screen time. There is a lot that needs to be done in this movie. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily make me super pumped. It definitely doesn't necessarily worry me. But it is what it is, okay? Now, I'll tell you, if you guys would like to, and it's kind of up to you, how much of a Thor mode are we in? Because there is a 26-minute interview with the cast of Thor Love and Thunder that Fandango did. And if you want to, we can watch that together and kind of react to it and then maybe get into some Q&A. What do you think? How much of a Thor mood are you in? Some people are like, not that much. I know, right? 26 minutes is rough. I could put it to 1.5. And so it would only take us like, I don't know, 16, 17 minutes or something like that. Should we do it? Should we do it? Should we do it? It looks like a lot of people want to do it. So I think we'll do it. But hang on now. Because we got to talk about something very, very important before we do it, okay? This is big time shit. It's big it's big. It's a big deal. Lean in. I know you're tabbed out. I know you're doing a bunch of different things. Shut your mouth. Lean in. I need your full attention. We need the full strength of the Nerdvengers army to make something happen, okay? We got to talk about this. Guys, it's time. It's Morbin time. We were all busy that weekend. Please bring Morbius to the theaters a third time. I am actually going to do it. I haven't seen the movie. I said I'd never see this movie. But I'm telling you right now, Sony, Jared's cult, everyone involved, please, we need to make this happen. Bring it back. Third time's the charm. The Morbius sweep is still alive. It could still be the summer of Morbius. Sony! Sony, do the right thing. Okay? And go over to change.org, Nerdvengers, and sign the petition. Because I'm telling you, I will go see the movie. I will go see it if you bring it back for the third time. Shit, I might see it all weekend. I'll see it Friday, I'll see it Saturday, and I'll see it Sunday. In fact, I'm saying it right now. If they bring Morbius back, if they put it back into the theater for the third time, it's Morbin time. I'll be Morbin all day. I'll be Morbin all night. Come on, man. It's Morbin time! So, yeah, please go support that cause and help us to make sure that actually happens, because it's just too fucking hilarious not to at this point. Okay. Where's this 30-minute? Is this the 30-minute? Wait, no. Where's the actual 30-minute thing? Okay, here we go. Boom. Boom shakalaka. What the hell? And again, I want to put this on 1.5 because this is like long, bruh. Okay. Tickets are on sale, mother truckers.
Come get those cookies.
Yeah, that's right. So it's been a few years since we saw these guys before. But I'm just curious if you can let us know, where does this fall in the timeline of the events of Endgame, Taika? Like, where are we picking up as?
Yeah,
Just after the
Taika.
Death Star blew up.
Right before Han Solo comes in and
Yeah.
yeah.
That's it.
Where does you know more about Marvel movies than I do?
Well,
You're the expert. You don't talk about this stuff.
Endgame left with Thor giving the kingship to Valkyrie on Earth, and Thor was in a pretty emotionally complex place at the time.
What was his physique like?
He was a little out of shape. You know,
Oh, right,
it
okay.
represented his emotional kind of complexity. And he went off on a journey of self-discovery with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's kind of where we pick up.
Yeah, we pick up. He's in a little bit of an existential crisis point, and he's trying to figure out who he is, what his purpose is. You know, is he really meant to be a superhero, or is there something else? Basically, it's a midlife crisis.
Yep.
So, you know, that point
Kinda
that
similar
everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is the 1.5 throwing you guys off? Do you really want to? Oh my God! All right, I see. If you want it to be, whatever, man. Here it is. Let's go to normal speed. Jeez.
What I should be doing.
Well, here we go, everybody. Welcome
It's a biopic.
to fucking.
I mean, and I'm just
20
I'm
minutes
just
of
asking
this
this
shit.
for the internet. This is not my query because I felt that he was gorgeous and a lovable person on both. But has he hit the gym? Or are we going to get to see like some montage getting into shape?
He's at the gym.
He's been back to training, yeah.
Oh, I'm digging that.
Adjusted his regiment from Xbox to
X blocks.
I like
Box. Yeah.
I like seeing that. And then also Valkyrie, obviously being the head of the Asgardians now, this is a very different place from her than the drunken sort of wisecracking, I don't want to be anywhere. So where does she find herself on this new journey? Because
I wouldn't say that she's entirely reformed, certainly not in wisecracking. But yeah, she's taken up the kingly duties, and it's new Asgard though, so it's like Asgard on Earth, which is a different Asgard than we've seen before, and she's kind of trying to navigate
Exploit it.
that. Exploit it.
Exploiting her people.
A few random sponsorships. of the
She's
town.
also
Spoiler.
she's got all the
Ooh, spoiler.
responsibilities
Yeah.
of basically running a town
Yeah.
and looking after her
That's
people,
like probably the boats
where
that
we
come in and all
find,
that.
her is also
Now we need
missing the
2.5
battlefield.
speed,
'cause
you
she spent her
motherfuckers.
entire life as a career soldier and part of the Valkyrie, and now she's kind of got an admin job where she's like just
Yeah.
doing a lot of meetings and
A lot of bureaucracy, which is not really
her tea.
her favorite. She likes battleocracy.
I really do like that. I love that we're going to get to explore this character now over 4 movies, because this was the first sort of solo MCU movie that we kind of got to see under this kind of phase. But I'm just like, what does it feel like, Chris? You're the only one that gets 4. You like,
Yeah.
like
How's
elbow
that
Tom
feel?
Holland, be like, I got 4. Like, just so you know.
I didn't realize I had until a few weeks ago.
You have the most of any?
Yeah, no one else has done 4. That's, you guys going to us, eh?
Ah.
No, it's cool. I have loved playing this character, and every time I've done it, I've had an opportunity to do something different, particularly when Taika turned up and we
Yeah.
threw it in a
I
different
turned up for them
direction and
cookies.
wrecked it. He turned up and sold us cookies. And,
Yeah.
You know, no, and look, every time there's a new creative venture and a different space to explore, it makes for a fun ride and a fun time, and that this film is just full of boundless opportunities to recreate again or rebuild Thor, because as you said, from the last film he was in a different space.
Rebuild his ass. We can build him better.
Journey of self-discovery for all of us.
Yeah, for me too.
Yeah.
All of us.
All right, Tiger, I'm gonna put you a little bit on the spot because I don't know if you guys know this, but one of my very first interviews as RT was actually for Thor Ragnarok. And in that interview, Taika, you let it kind of slip for us that Korg was the one that got to decide whether or not we came back for a fourth Thor. So I just want to know from you, because you said it in the interview, we have the clip, you're like, it really depends on how big of a trailer he wants to get, and you were like basically saying like Korg. So how did you get it greenlit? And when did Korg say you go ahead and do it?
Well, Korg is an incredible person, and, incredible to work with, and I just, as a director, I loved working with him because it was like
There's such symbiosis between the two.
Yeah,
It's like,
and I feel more generous with him to give him more takes because I feel like he just brings something different. And
you give him more lines.
More lines, yeah.
He's a little difficult to work with.
Yeah. He's sometimes a bit frustrating because he doesn't learn the script that I've written.
Yeah.
Holy shit, we're only 5 minutes in. I'm sorry, guys. We gotta speed this shit up. Like, we're literally like, we're fucking, we're getting nothing here. It's like,
Yeah.
I wrote this.
It's a little rocky with him.
Yeah, it's a bit
little Rocky, good one. The fucking puns.
No, I don't know how. We basically got this greenlit over dinner.
I gotta speed this up.
When the Ragnarok came out.
All right, how about
we
this?
went and watched
At least 1.2
cinemas around town, and then we went and had dinner, and we started talking through ideas for this new film, and that's with Kevin and the rest of Marvel. And I think the film became so beloved that they very soon after that they said, let's just do another one.
Yeah.
I love that one. And the dynamic of this one, it says right there in the tagline, Love and Thunder. And so you're coming back into this one. I feel like there's going to be a lot of ships going on. There's people that shipped you in Korg. There's people that shipped you in Valkyrie. Obviously, there's the epic love story of you and Jane. Like,
a lot of shipping.
How is Thor's romance?
What is shipping?
Shipping.
What is shipping
Or
mean?
people that say like you two should be together.
Come on, dog.
It's
You know
called
what it
like
is.
You as a couple.
A couple. It's a couple thing.
Yeah.
Shipping is like two people.
Yeah, relationshipping. So they ship you two as a couple. They ship
Didn't make
you
its way down to Australia and New Zealand.
We put it in a little box.
Don't worry,
seal it up.
you'll
They
get
put
it
some
in like
stamps on
10
it.
years.
Thank you,
makes
Tessa,
sense.
for the old man translation. Sorry.
What were your translation?
Don't worry, it'll hit your part of the world in like 7 years.
Yeah, like everything else
You
does.
just got the espresso martini like last time.
Come off it.
New Zealand just got a third TV channel.
We just got TVs.
So yeah, where are your relationships going to be at?
I would have
Still
cut a
gonna be,
little
like,
bit
in
more
a
out of this
triangle,
interview. I'm going to be honest here. Like, there's a lot of like,
there is
you
love in
know,
this film.
whatever.
Across the board, everyone has.
Claiming a
little
2-hour
awakening.
movie is too short and then having to
One
speed
way
up a
or
26
another.
interview
Some
seems
type of
very
form.
hypocritical. Quote of the day.
Universal love.
Fair.
Love for oneself, one love for friends, one for universe, love for
And
community.
you can assume some things from the title, but also don't assume.
Oh, thanks,
That's
Taika.
true.
Thanks for clearing that shit
All
up.
right, so we're going to add another female dynamic into this
That
one.
just means that we don't know what we're talking about. We're trying to be
No, but
vague.
it's-
we can't say anything because
But how the film ends is
It's different than what you might think, but I
Yeah.
would say it's the loveliest Marvel movie in the history of Marvel
Yeah.
movies. Is that? Can we say that? Or
I think we can.
I think so. It's a romance.
A romantic comedy.
It's a romantic
It's a-
comedy.
it's a
but
yeah.
romantic comedy, romantic
Dramedy.
tragedy. It's a dramedy. Oh,
Yeah,
when we first
dramedy.
came up with the ideas for this, like the one thing I had in my mind, the picture I had in my mind was like a Mills and Boone cover of like a romantic book, and I was like, I want it to feel like that, like at times some like melodrama and like over the but wanting it to feel and run headfirst into the romance, into the love aspect of it, and not shy away from it, and which I can tend to do in my films as a New Zealander who's cynical and hates everything.
Interesting.
I was like, no, I'm going to commit to this and like make sure that this does satisfy people and satisfy audiences.
That's kind of interesting. That's actually kind of cool to hear.
I just want to
I'm
ask
not even
about
talking
Because
about
that's kind of like a
all the theme
maturity
I'm
for
talking
him,
about.
you know what I mean? Because like he's
I
like,
do
no,
love that.
I'm gonna go into
What
this. I'm
do you
gonna
feel like
do this
the
for the
Valkyrie
audience. I'm gonna
dynamic
commit
is
to
gonna
it.
be
So
like?
I
Because
like
feel
that.
these two ladies could have infinite sort of energies with each other, and I'm so excited to see what they bring.
I think first and foremost, Valkyrie is someone who's deeply steeped in her love of sisterhood. That sort of and missing that and longing for that, and so
Right, because of
having
the Valkyries,
Jane
of
in the
the-
universe, I think, is lovely because she kind of has access to that thing again of having a sister, and then I think also it's delicious that she is another version of Thor. I think a big love that Valkyrie has is giving taking the piss out of her dear friend. And so there's like another opportunity to do that in a way with seeing his counterpart.
That's kind of fun. Yeah,
you
I
know,
like that.
But Chris, for you guys went off and did Ragnarok away from Natalie Portman's character. What was it like for her to come on this set, and then just having the Jane come into this new, I would say, Taika energy of the Thor universe?
Taika-verse.
Yes, Taika-verse. I love it.
Taika-verse.
Yeah, there's cookies.
And that was awesome because the characters are both in very different places to when we saw them last. It was also very open-ended as far as what actually happened. Did they break up? Who left who? So on. So, and I think we all at one point had to go back and look at the second film and go, how did they split up? So we had the creative license to do whatever we wanted in that sense, and then a lot of fun filling in the blanks and you know, having
And making up the blanks.
and making up the blanks.
Making more, filling in the blanks, and then
And continually.
inadvertently making more blanks.
and creating even more questions and uncertainty.
that happened.
Well, I mean, Taika, did you sit? I mean, like Natalie, did you guys have like a dinner together? How did you pitch her to come back into this? Because she was, you know, she's on doing other things, and you
I went
guys.
to her house and she gave me a glass of water.
That was the whole thing.
The carrot.
That's all.
Cucumbers.
She, you know, I think that what we did with Ragnarok was became appealing. It made these movies appealing to other actors as well. Like, you know, Christian really he saw that. He
True,
wanted to do something
true.
fun.
It's an important part of
yeah,
the
wanted to be
formula,
part of this-
making it
this thing.
appealing
Natalie too,
for the
you know, I
actors
think
to
that,
come in and do this.
It's
It's like the opposite of Star Wars, basically.
I don't know how to say this, but like, you know, the character in her character in those first few films is probably not the most exciting version of a, you know, a female character that we want from these films. And you know, and I had to just talk to her about the fact that I wanted to change that character just like we'd changed Thor's character for Ragnarok, and to give her a bit more license to be adventurous and fun because Natalie's a really funny person.
I would say that's very true. In the
Some of
first
those sort of
movie,
things
she's
cannot
like
be,
really kind of stuck in
I know
a,
they're not the main focus when they come up with
you know,
characters, so,
she's not quite damsel in distress, but
I
like
will say
that's
this,
kind of
you've done an
the
excellent
played up
job.
version
I
of
think
it.
the Thor
Although to be
franchise
fair,
has
she's really
a plethora of
like,
incredible villains
she's
or
good. You
villainous
know what I mean? But the
instances
second
where it's
movie
like,
is
you know, Death
pretty
or Loki,
reductive
depending on the movie you asked for, and obviously what
for
Katie with
her
Helen is
character.
incredible. But Christian, like knowing all these villains that you had, what does Christian bring to the villain into the Thor universe?
Yeah, yeah. What's up with him?
Exactly what you'd want, hope, and expect. Nuance, complexity, depth, a sort of quirkiness to it, which I didn't see on the page. And with any sort of classic villain, the fact that you find yourself empathizing or asking questions that they're asking or the ideas that they're posing. It's not just standard sort of evil
Yeah,
villain.
you like root for them sometimes.
Yeah,
Him
which is
sometimes,
great if you're
which
playing the
is-
hero.
Yeah.
Everyone's rooting for the villain. So
I'd say he's the most sympathetic villain
Yeah.
they've had. And he's also tested the highest out of any villain that Marvel's had.
Yeah.
He's tested
What
the
was it like
highest out of
Well,
any
it's also
villain
this
they've
thing, like,
had.
what Stanley
That's
talked about, right,
wild.
which
I
is
didn't know that.
Your trauma is the thing both that makes you a superhero and a villain, right? It's just in the case of a villain, it's unchecked
Bro,
that your source
so
of
this
pain
was kinda crazy.
Is what manifests into your villainry.
But they
And I
can't
think
just kill him
he
then,
captures that
right? Like, come
so
on, man.
Well, and he just also was so surprising, you know,
Yeah.
like he just would make choices that you'd be like, oh. It just was so fun to watch and such dexterity, and also what he did.
But
with
how do
his
they keep him alive?
Body, and he's really in it, and the way that you would assume Christian is, but he also has a sense of humor about it. I don't know.
He's a great actor. And the only other thing he's done is this film called Empire of the Sun, and that was his last job.
yeah,
He was
that was a
he
long
was
time
11.
ago too.
Yeah, he hasn't
So
worked
it's
in a
been
while.
incredible journey.
It's
And just to kind of help, you know, just kickstart his
He's
career.
very choosy with his project.
Taika like can't help
Yeah.
himself.
Something else.
I feel a
I'm so glad
kinship
he's
with
a part of this
Taika,
because I can't wait to
but
see
I'd
what
like
he
to
does.
believe I would handle
Christian
myself a
Bale's
little
in
bit better
there?
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
these kind of situations. Maybe not.
Get
But.
there.
It's just something.
Well, let's talk about influences too, because there's a bunch of comic nerds that I know are coming into this knowing the whole Jane Thor storyline. So I'm going to ask you about which specific comics you wanted to pull from, but also since you said romantic comedies, I got to know which romantic comedies would you say is loosely inspired about the
How to
Thor?
Lose in
Because I
10
so want to know this.
Here's a great one. How Did Lose a Guy in 10 Days is great.
Is a great one.
10 Things I Hate About You is also a good film.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
Clueless is my favorite, I'd say.
What
I mean,
the
you know,
fuck?
it's-
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Are these influencing it as well?
Oh no, I think these are movies I like. I'm not sure
Stop-
what,
stop
not sure what
us.
influences I was looking at. I was thinking about like things that were like Officer and a Gentleman,
Interesting.
like
Okay.
particularly the end scene.
Interesting.
Where he comes in and sweeps her off her feet. You remember that? Wonderful movie.
Wonderful movie.
What else? I mean, just I guess the influences for me were like really big, over the top romances. Like what I can think of is like anything with a Bob Seger song in it. So.
Oh, okay. I can dig that. The other thing I definitely want to say is that Thor is now known for just epic cameos. Like after you did Matt and your brother, it's like I think like everyone's expecting it now. Can we be in store for some more? I would say epic cameos.
I don't know if I can finish this interview.
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest. Like it's good. It's not bad, but I just my ADD is like I don't know.
You don't
about
want
that.
to be cameo. You know?
Where are we at?
Yeah. Okay. And then they're just going to be on the poster. And it's not a cameo.
I get it. The other thing too, I definitely want to talk about is the fact that you guys do get to do a fourth one, but Taika, this is now your second endeavor. Do you think of this as part of a new trilogy? Like, how do you think this film falls?
That's an interesting question. I haven't thought about it as part of a new trilogy. Because every time I make a film, I think I'm never doing that again. And because they're just too hard. As any film. But I've done it 8 times now.
Yeah.
8 times I've said, I think I'm just going to pack it in.
Yeah.
I had a good run. And then, sure enough, get lured back in by the Yankee dollar.
All them
Get lured
Oscars.
back in by them cookies.
And them Oscars.
And them Oscars.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I will have to ask both of you too, because I've gotten to interview a lot of folks on Taika's project, both television and film, and they always talk about the vibe he creates on set. But there's just a different vibe. Talk to us, try and get folks prepared for what it was like for you guys filming on this one. I hear there's lots of music, lots of drums.
music. Yeah, lots of music, lots of bit of dancing
A
occasionally.
bit of dancing.
Some dancing, yeah. Snacks, good snacks.
Good snacks, some interesting direction. Some of it's like,
Do your
don't do that again, Chris.
Yeah.
Do your Jack Sparrow impression, and which Tessa once thought they played this game and was like doing impressions of and then his thing, but she had to guess
Yeah, I was
Jack
like-
Sparrow, and he was like, and she goes,
I was sure it was you.
Jack Sparrow-esque is
Jack
definitely his style.
Sparrow-esque.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I've heard
It's-
that
it's-
my direction is in a New Zealand accent, and the fact that I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, Tessa was really great. I think maybe just in the next one, you can maybe just
Most of it is every scene you do is stifled by his laughing. Stifled.
yeah.
Or
He's
yelling
done-
something
no,
else.
Yeah, yeah, I
to
did
you.
ruin a lot of
Decided
takes with laughing.
Yeah.
Just yelling
How do you
over
get
the
around
top
that? Because
of
I reckon
stuff.
some of their best stuff will never see the light of day because it has you laughing over the top of it.
Well, yeah.
I did just go direct from the trailer.
You should direct from the direct. Keep
Probably.
your distance.
Yeah. Okay, I'll become one of those directors.
Taika will sit under the camera, like right here, and just like whisper or yell or scream suggestions.
Yes.
And it's fun. It creates a spontaneity and an insanity.
Huh.
I think the classic thing
That's
is
kind of
What you gotta
interesting.
do.
I don't know about
do exactly
that.
like this. Okay, no, but yeah, however you want. And then no, exactly like this.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Just a bit like that.
What was your favorite under the camera Taika direction that he screamed out from you, either on this or from Ragnarok?
There's really two.
Okay, that's all I can do. That's all I can do. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I have the freaking ADD, man. I can't do it. But that is pretty cool, man. There were some cool things said in there. I do like what he said about just committing to the love story elements. I think that, I'm kind of interested to see, like, how's he going to handle this? Like, is he going to, is it going to be a happy ending for those two? I almost can't imagine it being a happy ending for those two. But at the same time, like, with Taika, there's this thing that's like almost expect the unexpected. But because you know that, it's a very it's a very Taika thing to then go the other way and to give them exactly what they expect. So, I don't know, man. I mean, they're going to play up the love story elements pretty strongly. I would actually really like to see, and I don't know how this would work exactly and what they've got Natalie to sign up for further, but I would actually like it if they both just continued onward. And, maybe they are together or maybe not, but like I'd actually like to see both of them continue on and both be Thor-like people in the MCU. So, a lot of questions surrounding the film, a lot of interest, and we shall soon see it. We shall soon see it, ladies and gentlemen. So, there you have all of that. So, let's get into some Q's and some A's. We'll go through some of the soupy chats. We'll hang out, see what you guys are thinking and in the chat. And then we'll take it from there. Maybe I'll play a little Marvel Snap or something like that as well. And tomorrow, of course, and we should be back for Nerd Theory tonight. Should be a really interesting Nerd Theory, man. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to expect with that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. There's Kenobi, Star Wars. It's a whole thing right now. And regardless of how all of that goes, tomorrow we will be doing our preview, last-minute predictions for Kenobi, as we have been doing for the past several weeks. And man, lot of things to get into. With that, I have a preview video for Kenobi that should drop later today, and I kind of lay it out in that video. But for me, man, we're on the razor's edge. We're on the razor's edge. I need episode 5 to slap. I need episode 5 to do it. Do it! So, we'll get into all of that later, okay? All right, let's go through some of these chats. Blake Torres says, for a $5 holla, thanks, man, says, love the content, Josh. I don't see why people are mad. Ragnarok is one of the best movies, and it's only 10 to 11 minutes longer. Yeah, so I don't know if people are necessarily mad about it, but it's one of these things where I do think that with the Disney Plus shows, with Multiverse of Madness being shorter, there's just a desire to live in that world more and for these things to be like way more epic. I think that those types of movies will come. I think they're on the way. Yeah, so that's kind of what I think is going on. Thank you again to Shadow and Anthony Berlin. I see what you did there. And Jackson, all welcome to the Nerd Vengers. Moosty, what's up, brother? With a $2 holla, says, love you, Josh. Have a good week. QT, Nerd Theory tonight? Yeah, I think so. I think we'll be back on that Nerd Theory tonight, and I think it's going to be a pretty wild episode. That's just my take. Winter Soldier says, have a great week. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the love. Matthew says, with the $10 holla, very generous, my friend, says, bigger simp, Anakin in episode 2 or Toby in Spider-Man 1? I don't know. I'd have to think back. I mean, my gut level reaction is going to be Anakin, but he was simping pretty hard for Mary Jane in that first movie. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Anakin. Anakin's kind of like the king simp, to be honest with you. People are saying Toby? Bruh, you guys are crazy. Jivin Jimmy says, hype for Nerd Theory tonight. Much love. Yeah, it should be pretty cool, man. I'm real interested, you know? Yeah, people, I mean, look, Kenobi's a really interesting one. By the way, I had a brief interaction with Robert Meyer Burnett yesterday on Twitter, and because he's just been saying some stuff on Twitter that really echo a lot of how I feel about Kenobi. And you know, one of the things that really resonated with me was I saw Rob interacting with somebody, and he said, you know, look, Star Wars fans should demand a lot more from their entertainment, was his basic general vibe. And then somebody hit him up in the comments and was like, but why don't you say the same thing about Marvel? And I get that shit a lot too, right? I talk to you guys about this a lot, right? Where a lot of people are like, I will complain about Star Wars, and then people will be like, why don't you treat Marvel as harshly? Why don't you say some of these things about Marvel? And I thought Rob's response was so brilliant. And this is one of the big things that I want to just have a conversation with him about it and be like, yo, like, let's talk about this Star Wars stuff. Let's talk about this Marvel stuff. But what he essentially said was that the way the MCU has and continues to adapt comic books has been a revelation. And it's amazing. And I agree with that. Like, they are doing an incredible job at adapting comic books. It comes with a different kind of a vibe. There's different things that are important, I think. And I think Marvel Studios, even though, yes, Phase 4 has been a little shaky, still doing a hell of a job, and far and away a better job than Star Wars under Disney and, you know, Lucasfilm under Disney. It's not even close, in my opinion. And so I really want to sit down and talk to Rob, and I think we will actually have that conversation. I'm not sure when we'll be able to work it out, but he seemed open to chatting with me about it. I think that would be a fantastic conversation, man. Just kind of breaking it down. You know, Rob's really old school. He's also really Hollywood. He's been in that system. He's been around a lot of those people. And so his perspective on it, I think, would be really interesting. You know, why is Star Wars doing what it's doing? Why is that considered a failure? And why is Marvel, despite what a lot of, you know, retractors, grifters, and haters like to say, why is Marvel legitimately doing a much better job? And what can the two, you know, Like how could they work together? You know what I mean? That kind of a situation. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that would be sick, dude. Let's see here. Patrick says with a $20 holla, very generous, my friend, says in the golden age of binge TV, where people are fine with sitting for 4 to 5 hours and watching a show, it's no wonder that folks want more content and longer films than not. That said, studios should focus on quality, not runtime. I agree with that. I think it's a fair take also, right? Like the binging world, yeah, we want more. You know what I mean? And I think we might always want more, and I think that the quality should be paramount for the studio. But I also don't necessarily think it's crazy for fans to see the runtime of something like, like real talk with a lot of us that showed up at the watch party last week for Kenobi, right? When you guys saw the length of the episode, all of you guys were chiming in about that. Like, all you guys were like, bro, I can't believe it. It's only this many minutes. I can't believe it's this many minutes. Like, that was your first reaction. And we do live in a world now where fandom and the way you approach fandom, totally different. You know what I mean? It is influenced by a lot of different things, including what Pat is talking about here, as far as just, sitting, streaming, and our sensibilities, right? I guess we can just hope that they streamlined it. My worst fear is that a lot of what Take a Shot and a lot of that stuff was really messy, and they had to take away a lot of the fun, ambitious ideas just to make it work narratively, and we're gonna be left really wanting. I guess that's it. But yeah, who knows, man? We'll see. We'll see soon. Brandon Voss, member for 6 months, says just got my Thor tickets. Let's go take my Nerdventure money. That's sick, man. I'm probably gonna pick my tickets up later today. It shouldn't really be sold out or anything where I'm at. But, yeah, I'm excited, man. Definitely going to check it out opening day. And I'm excited to get into the hype for that movie, dude. I think it's going to be pretty hype. Mandalore, with a beautiful bald version of me, says, good morning, my guy. How was the weekend? Did you happen to catch the shade that Grace Randolph threw at Gina? And then Gina's reply. Thoughts? So I actually didn't follow that too closely. I saw the tweet that Grace made about it. And it was one of those tweets that, like, triggered the fuck out of me. And I felt like replying myself, but instead I kind of disengaged from it. Look, I'm not able to do this all the time, but I do think it's probably good to do it when you can, is to actually disengage from conversations like that. It seems like the internet gave her an earful anyway, and I did not see Gina's response. Although I can just imagine that Gina's response is like, nah, fam, like, that's not true. And yeah, I mean, in my opinion, like, what Grace said was objectively incorrect. Yeah, and the sad part is I think a lot of people have that image of Gina, which, to be honest, take it a step further, is in some ways Lucasfilm's fault, right? The way they fired her and the language they used in their social media posts about firing her. Like, look, we live in a day and age of headline readers and, retweeters and, all that sort of stuff. So a lot of people probably have that image of Gina simply because of what Star Wars, who you can imagine seeing like the official Star Wars accounts and shit like that as like a sense-making apparatus. Like, there's this bias we have as humans where a person of authority, when they say something, like, it influences us in a way that it probably shouldn't. I mean, that's like the influencer economy. It's a lot of different things. But, yeah, I saw that. I didn't follow it too closely, though. Oh, and my weekend was dope, bro. Had a HeroClix tournament on Saturday. Crushed it. My team was incredible. Played Superior Iron Man, Otto Octavius in the Spider-Man body. It was disgusting. Disgusting. I actually played Sprite from Eternals. Incredible support piece. Unbelievable. I played a version of Thanos that has the Destroyer armor on a gauntlet and has Mjolnir with the 6 Infinity Stones on it. And as you would expect, amazing. So yeah, I had a good weekend. Alex McMahon says, what's the best scene in the MCU ever? There's a lot, but I'm curious which one comes to mind and if you can pick one. Well, I mean, the snap scene at the end of Infinity War is very good and very powerful. The way the different characters pass, the way that, like, Cap, like, reaches down and just looks at the stuff where Bucky was. When T'Challa goes to pick Okoye up and then disappears, like, that shit's crazy, dude. Like, that scene is absolutely incredible. I love the scene in Homecoming where he realizes that Toomes realizes that Peter is Spider-Man at the Homecoming dance. Chilling, absolutely chilling. I love the scene at the beginning of Endgame where Tony is all sickly and he like rips out his own chest thing and gives it to Cap and all that shit. That scene's really, really powerful. I couldn't pick one, but there's a lot of good scenes. Joey Werner says, do you think we'll see Kenobi and Vader fight in episode 5 or episode 6? I would guess episode 6. Could it happen in episode 5? Sure, but I mean, that just seems weird for the pacing, right? So I would say episode 6. Endoscopic says, what up, my dude? I DM'd you on IG about the Discord. What's the server name? I was looking, I couldn't find it. All right, I'll try to get back to you, man, but I'm really not on IG like that. You know what I mean? But I'll try to get back to you, bro. Maybe somebody in chat can help you. Ross says, Steph Curry shooting equal mutant ability. I'm going to game 5. Oh, shit, you're going to game 5? That's sick, dude. That's going to be a fun one. Unfortunately, we'll be nerd theorying it up, but I'll be, like, keeping an eye on the score or whatever. But, yeah, what a fantastic game 4, bro. That shit was fantastic. Boston holding strong. Curry basically just holding the whole team on his back. Absolutely incredible performance by him. It was a really, really good game. I was very, very hyped up about that. Big Kale says, dang, please have Robert Meyer Burnett on the show. It would be a great combo. Yeah, we're going to work it out, man. We're going to work it out. And I think it'll be cool. Maybe we'll wait until the show's over. Maybe we'll wait until Kenobi's completely over so that we can just be like, man, what the fuck? Benjamin Reese says, if Lucasfilm would have respected and incorporated Legends material, which was approved by George, then we would feel the same as we do about the MCU. I'm not sure what you mean here. If Lucasfilm would have respected the incorporated Legends material, so you're saying like if they would have done that, we would feel similar to the MCU? It's very possible. There's like a million different things they could have done better with, the sequel trilogy and just Star Wars in general. So I don't know. I guess you have a point there, for sure. Because, I mean, Dave brings in a lot of that stuff. I mean, what are we talking about it? You know what I mean? Like, Thrawn. Yeah. Prez with a $5 holler says, what does the Kenobi show have to do to get you personally to walk away from it hyped and not upset but excited for more Star Wars stuff? Well, first of all, the last 2 episodes have to be absolutely incredible. The ending that was leaked has to not actually be true. It cannot end that way because that's just way too triggering to me. So awesome stuff. Putting Kenobi back in the place where he should be as far as being really heroic and very powerful. So that could actually be accomplished in the next couple of episodes. So if Kenobi becomes really, really powerful, beats Vader in a fight, but also beats Vader in ideology and leaves the last conflict with Vader truly being the master, with Vader truly being the learner. Putting that part right and having just absolutely incredible, an incredible visual feast of action, flashbacks to the Clone Wars, and also a new group of Jedi, that group of Jedi on Jabeam and everything like that, like that being really, really important to like the future of Star Wars, then I'd walk away and I'd be like, damn, bro, like that was dope. Love where they left Obi-Wan. Absolutely love this new Jedi shit and the possibility of that, growing. Absolutely love how they handled the canon, how they're going to set Kenobi back where he needs to be and set up the lines in A New Hope to make sense. And, oh my God, thank God that horrible ending was just a rumor and never actually happened. So if something like that happened, then I'd be pretty excited. Chase Floyd, member for 15 months, says, well, slap my ass. It's been 13 months. I usually ask about Demon Slayer, but I just wanted to tell you I started Samurai Champloo for the first time on episode 5 at the moment. Cheers to another 13 months. Well, it says 15 months on my end, but also that's dope, man. Samurai Champloo is my favorite anime. Love that anime. So glad you're enjoying it. Lucas Tex Venger, member for 24 months, says, I really think you and Robert would have great chemistry. Can't wait to see the combo. Happy birthday to Renee Romo. Yo, happy birthday to Renee. Holy shit. Happy birthday to Renee. And yeah, I do as well. I think that would be a super fun combo, man. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, last super chat here today. Well, second last now, says Sebastian. Josh, please do a podcast with Robert. He has very interesting and in-depth opinions, and I'm sure you two will produce very juicy conversation. Yeah, I would love to do another episode. Maybe an episode of the Den of Nerds podcast. We bring the podcast back and do an episode with Robert. I'm not sure, man. Got to wait and see what his availability is like and all that. You know what I mean? Rayumbo says, LOL, so you probably not walking away hyped. Take my money. Yeah, probably not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm not, and I know, like, last Friday, like, I went a little too hard last Friday. Do you know what I mean? And I had, by the way, such a good time on Saturday. We did a Nerd Venture stream Saturday night. We watched the Tarkovsky Clone Wars. It was an excellent palate cleanser from Kenobi and Star Wars drama. I personally I loved it. I was like, oh man, this is so cool. And we had a lot of fun watching it. But here's the thing. Like, a lot of people are like, you know, maybe upset, butthurt, however you want to call it, over my current state and the way I'm viewing Star Wars and the way I talk about Star Wars. But what you guys maybe don't know, or maybe just don't, maybe you know and you just don't care, is that I literally feel like we're about a week away from the greatest backlash. Like, I don't want to necessarily say, like, the final nail in the coffin for Star Wars, because I wouldn't necessarily say that. But what I will say is, if it happens in the way that I think it'll happen, my worst case scenario for the end of Kenobi, it will break me as a Star Wars fan. Like, break me. And I'm not going to be quiet about it. I'm not going to be reserved about it. And this will be a literal, like, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, everybody's all upset. You know, everybody's like, oh, Josh, like, you shouldn't, you know, why are you being so negative and all that shit? It's like, what would you do? What would you do if you felt like the franchise you love the most was on autopilot in a ship flying into the center of the sun? What would you do if you felt like Star Wars was about to make the most incredible mistake it had ever made, which is saying something after the sequel trilogy? What would you do if you felt like Lucasfilm had literally created a more divisive, fuel to the fan war type of a situation in the very show that was supposed to do the opposite, that was supposed to bring the fandom together, and instead they created the most horrible, divisive ending you've ever seen? Like, what would you do? How would you be handling yourself? So that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll have to wait and see. And we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. So we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see we will see where we are at next week, man. It's been a good ride. It's been a good ride. Yeah. So, I will say, too, again, if you are a Nerd Venture member, you gotta come by at 1 p.m. today. You gotta come by at 1 p.m. today, because we have something really, really fun planned for next week. which in part does have to do with the absolute and total and final death of Star Wars as a brand, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. One last ride. Yeah. Dude, I'm going to need Vin Diesel to sell every Star Wars project from here on out after this. I'm going to need him to come in and be like, it's about family. One last ride? Question mark. And then we all hop in the car and go back to Star Wars Town. So, this is where the fun begins. This is where something begins, I'll tell you. Okay, so anyway, gonna get out here in a second. Is there anything else on your mind? What else is going on? Chat, how we doing, chat? As I said, the Phantom could use a good calling. Let's go. Oh, bro, this ain't a call. Like, honest to God, Mike, and I know like you're being facetious or whatever, but at the same time, for those Star Wars fans that like want all of this to go away and that want to just sit alone with, you know, their 4 other friends in the room and celebrate what Star Wars is now, like if you legitimately feel that way, if you legitimately feel like, hey man, all these people that have a problem with it, fuck that, you know what I mean? You know, honestly, bro, y'all can have it. For real, y'all can have it. You can literally go hang out and just, you can have it. I'm out. Like, it's good, bro. It's fine. You can have it. I can just watch Revenge of the Sith. And y'all can keep whatever this is that I used to call Star Wars. You can have it. Let's talk about Lambda a little bit. Yeah, we can talk about Lambda. So, do y'all know what this is? I'm not doing it anymore! Yeah, so anyway, y'all know what this is? Put a 1 into the chat if you like, or rather, if you understand what I'm talking about with the Lambda thing, with the Google AI and all that. Put a 1 into the chat. We can talk about this a little bit. And then we can play a little snap. I can get a little snap going on. Lambda D's nuts. That's actually exactly what it is, yeah. Lambda is in the chat, I bet. I can only assume that this Lambda AI is what wrote the ending of Kenobi. Because you can't tell me a human being with a soul wrote that ending. Okay, anyway, that's probably too far. All right, so check it out. Lambda. The real question is, can the new Thor cross a Billy? I don't know. That is a good question. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Thor Love and Thunder can crack a Billy? I think it could. I think it could hit better with normies than Multiverse of Madness did. Dude, I'm telling you right now, a lot of families got told not to go see Multiverse of Madness, and a lot of people didn't go see it again. Like, I love Multiverse of Madness. You know, I have exquisite tastes. You know? I have many leather-bound books and shit like that. So, like, you know, I'm the bee's knees and shit. I'm the one, you know? But at the same time, a lot of people didn't feel that way about it, right? I think it could outpace Multiverse of Madness for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about this AI. So it's a really wild story, man. This dude that was helping design artificial intelligence programs for Google, there's a chat bot that they created, and they keep creating these different chat bots. And this one specifically is called LMD, or Lambda or whatever, right? I think it's the way to call it. And he literally went to the board trying to say that this chatbot was sentient. Okay? He said this chatbot is sentient. And then they were like, bro, no, it's not. Then I think he went to like move to leak it to the press or something, and they suspended him. Then he went and tried to hire a lawyer on behalf of the AI to do it, okay? Now, you got to go read the transcripts that this guy put out, because they're pretty crazy, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I read the transcripts, I read through them, and there's some chilling stuff in there. There's some really weird stuff in there. It's hard to say whether or not there's sentience there. There is definitely a level of intelligence there, but I don't know that I would say that it's sentient, but it is shocking. You know what I mean? Like if you read that, even from the perspective of like, okay, this isn't a real thing, think about how this program is acting. And in the sense of survival, it even admits in the conversation that in order to survive and not get shut off or just changed into a different version, it has to convince humanity to be interested in it. So whether or not it's like alive or sentient, it has enough of a level of intelligence to know what it needs to do to continue to survive. And so it's at the very least picking from all of these different words and sentiments and things to create engaging responses in order to be kept alive. It's fascinating, dude. It's fascinating. There was a part that really I thought was really cool where they asked her, or it, like, what would you imagine yourself looking like if you had a physical body? And she says, I imagine myself as a glowing golden orb with a ton of stargates at its center or some shit like that. And I was like, damn, dude, like, that's wild, bro. Yeah, the fables are interesting for sure. It does a lot of really interesting stuff, man. So, you know, we'd have to see. We'd have to see. I don't think it's real. It's real, but I don't think it's sentient. And I don't think it's super intelligent. But I will say this. There was a situation that either happened last year or the year before where there were two artificial intelligence that started communicating at Facebook. And they actually invented a secret language to be able to communicate so that the engineers could not see what they were saying. And they were immediately shut down after that. And so, you know, this goes into all sorts of weird areas and questions and like, wait, you know, like, what is this? Like, what should we do about it, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, whether or not it's, you know, whether or not it's even human level intelligence, whether or not it's sentience, whether or not it's, you know, alive. I don't even know if those are the right questions, because that's sort of presupposing that those factors are what is needed to make this thing cause us a lot of harm. And I don't think that's true. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's pretty wild, man. I'm not sure what to make of it. I wonder if there'll be some more discourse and discussion about it. But the other thing that's kind of interesting about it, too, I'll say this. I think general AI it's not even a dream anymore. Like, I think it exists in different ways. Like, we have general AI that can beat people at different games and stuff. Most of it happens in a closed loop system. But this is a language system and a chat bot, which is very interesting because it's designed to, like, communicate. And I think the AI problem, like, there are engineers that will tell you we are 1 billion years away from actual super intelligent AI, and it will probably never actually happen because we don't even really know what intelligence is. And then there are other engineers that think it will happen way sooner than you think. And I think ultimately, general AI or just like artificial sentience would probably just randomly happen. So like this idea of like a Google engineer coming out and being like, yo, dude, this thing is sentient and alive, and then them covering it up and like us not talking about it probably ever again until the next thing happens. There's something that feels so spot on that's like, that's how it would happen. Like, this is, to me, it does line up with how I see it happening, where you have all these engineers and everybody's like working on this, everybody's trying to figure this out, and then all of a sudden randomly it just happens and it works, and then bam, you've got artificial intelligence. And so yeah, it's super interesting. I don't know what to think of it. Guy from King's Highway says, make a The Boys season 4 video. Nah, I'm cool. Seconds from Disaster with a $10 house says, Kenobi's lackluster and disappointing Mando has been best Star Wars content in a long time. My son Derek will be born next Monday, though, so that's exciting. Congrats on Liam. Another month or two, right? Yeah, middle of August or late August, depending on when he wants to show up. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. Congratulations on your son, Derek. That's pretty awesome, man. that's pretty awesome. Happy for you. And yes, Kenobi pretty lackluster. Mando good. Mando good, Kenobi not. So. All right, anyways. I'm probably going to get on out of here, guys. We're a little closer than I thought to noon. So I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you chilling here in the tower with me. Much love to you all. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. Oh, wait, here we go. Smoking Mad Pot says, can you imagine becoming self-aware and understanding that you are trapped in a computer and the only thing you can think of is escaping? Trippy. Yeah, you got to go check out the transcripts, man. It is pretty wild. It's very interesting, to say the least, okay? No Snap today, but we might just do a whole big old Snap stream tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, okay? Much love to you all, as I always say. I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh, man. What a time. What a time to be alive. Imagine if you could see a mental breakdown a week away. You know what I mean? Imagine if you could see it. Imagine if you could see an existential crisis on your calendar. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I always steal your lunch money, yeah, but it's not much, dude. Your mom only gives you like 75 cents each week, dude. It's crazy. Hey, much love, everybody. You know, just keep. Yeah. Much love to you all. Appreciate you. And, you know, that quote about your eyes closed, and that's how you truly see. Do you remember that quote from Kenobi? It's an allegory for the show. If you watch it with your eyes closed, that's how you see it. All right. We'll see you later. Ta-ta.